Hello everybody, I'm JackieKCooper, and my entertainment rundown for today is not a discussion, it's just me talking to you about my predictions for who will take home the Oscar. February 9th, that's the date. When we're taping this on Super Bowl Sunday, so a lot of people are excited about that. Hey, my big night is the Oscar night. It's on ABC, it starts at 8 o'clock and goes forever. It seems like it does. Again, this year, no host. They kind of got in a controversy last year about who they were going to have as host. There was the Kevin Hart, flare up about some of the things he'd said in the past that offended people. So he bowed out and they went with no host. And this year, hey, no host again. So it'll just be people trotting out and saying, hey, making little scripted jokes that sometimes are really bad, sometimes might be good, but they'll be doing that and then just reading off the nominations and saying, and the winner or the Academy Award goes to, so and so. This is a big night for me, though. Like I said, I've never been to the Oscars. I've had a chance, I've been invited, but didn't get to go. But in my house, this is the night that my wife, we have steak, and big meal, all the added side dishes and everything, and we put those tables up in front of the TV and we eat our meal and we watch and make fun of everybody, how they're dressed or whatever, and then get mad when the person that we want to win doesn't win or whatever. I always hope for some surprises. A good surprise is fine, but this year, when I was thinking about the time leading up to the Oscars, I thought, yeah, these categories are wide open, whatever. But then you had the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, the Critics' Choice Awards, all of that, and you realized that these things are pretty much baked in. Barring some wild card being thrown, it's pretty much there. It's like in the category of supporting actor. We've got Tom Hanks in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. We've got Anthony Hopkins in The Two Popes, Al Pacino, The Irishman, Joe Pesci, The Irishman, and Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Well, my prediction is Brad Pitt. For some reason, it's like this is a comeback role for him. He didn't really go anywhere, but there was the whole Angelina Jolie period where he made some movies with her and other movies that just weren't quite as successful. Now that marriage is over. Brad is back, and who wouldn't want another chance to see Jennifer Aniston out there in the audience applauding him when he wins a supporting actor Oscar? So that's my prediction, is that he is going to be the winner that night. In the supporting actress category, you've got Kathy Bates in Richard Jewell, Laura Dern in Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh in Little Women, and Margot Robbie in Bombshell. Now, all of those are strong performances. I really thought Florence Pugh was the outstanding person in the film Little Women. She created a new version of the character of Amy, unlike any others that I'd seen in the previous iterations of that story. But, Laura Dern is the daughter of Bruce Dern and Diane Ladd. And I know you've probably heard of Bruce Dern, but Diane Ladd made quite a few movies during her career. They're both still alive. They divorced when Laura Dern was young, but she's been raised in the Hollywood tradition all the way through. I heard somewhere that Bruce Dern and Diane Ladd remarried. I'm not sure of that. I should have looked it up, but I'd heard that. But she seems to be riding the wave of, here's an actress who has paid her dues, who comes from Hollywood, royalty, so to speak, and she's the one we want to pick. Like I said, I think Florence Pugh, as far as overall, gave the better performance, but I'm going to predict that Laura Dern takes home the award. Then we're going to move up to male actor, and this is, Antonio Banderas is nominated for Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. I would really like to see Adam Driver win this award. I mean, he was so good in the movie Marriage Story. Marriage Story is a movie that I will watch over and over. It's just, a tragedy in some ways. It gives some hope to life in another way. But he and Scarlett Johansson, they just played well as two people who want to love each other but just cannot make their marriage work. And he just goes through every gamut of emotion possible. I really, really, would like to see him win, but I don't think he is. I think you just cannot overcome Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, as Arthur Fleck, I think was his name, his character, who becomes the character, known in the press as the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix, that whole movie, I've said this over and over, was just a descent into madness. You see all the things that caused his problems, that he was, he had emotional and mental problems to begin with, and then society just seemed to beat him down, and concerns about his mother, concerns about his parentage, it was all there, and it just came to create this madman who becomes a killer. I just think that he did such a good job of getting into every area of that character, and he has certainly been acclaimed for it. And he too, his family has been involved in the industry. His brother River Phoenix, who died tragically at such a young age, was a rising star. But I think this is Joaquin's time. Again, if Adam Driver got it, I sure wouldn't be disappointed, but we'll go with Joaquin. For Best Actress, Cynthia Erivo in Harriet, Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan, rhymes with inertia, Saoirse Ronan in Little Women, Charlize Theron in Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger in Judy. And again, I've got, my heart goes, with Marriage Story, but I don't think Scarlett Johansson is going to win. Saoirse Ronan just gets nominated for everything. If she's in a movie, that's Academy Award performance right there. It doesn't matter. She is going to get nominated. She's young, and she's in the early stages of career. No telling how many nominations she will end up with toward the end of her career. She's kind of like Meryl Streep. Everything Meryl Streep does, people acclaim. But I don't think she'll get it this time. I think it's Renee Zellweger. She did a fantastic job of, bringing the character of Judy Garland, the legendary singer, actress, in the last months before her death. She died in her 40s, I think. And it's a tragic time in her life. She's vulnerable. She's a little bit unstable, and she's addicted to pills and alcohol in some ways. But she's a tragic figure. And Renee Zellweger, who for a time there was the hottest thing in Hollywood with Coal Mountain and Chicago and just everything. She was there, and then her career just went, it kind of stopped. Bridget Jones' Diary, she did that and got a lot of acclaim. But the movie, her career just kind of stopped. And here she is back, nominated for Best Actress in a movie about a legend. They honor Renee Zellweger and they honor Judy Garland at the same time. So I'm putting my money on Renee Zellweger to win for Judy. And Best Director, Martin Scorsese, who's legendary. He gave us The Irishman. Todd Phillips gave us Joker. Sam Mendes, 1917. Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. And Parasite is, the dark horse here. that has been surprisingly winning Best Picture from certain groups. But I think it's going to be Sam Mendes. I think 1917 is coming into its full power at exactly the right time. Just when the votes were being counted or being sent in, it was like the #1 movie or rising up to it. And it is a tremendous movie. So, and gosh, the combination of cinematography and the story that is told, and the cameos by some well-known actors like Colin Firth and Benedict Cumberbatch, but then the two leads who were unknowns, but he pulls it all together and really shows a skillful hand. So I'm going to go with Sam Mendes as Best Director, which leads us into the big award for Best Picture. Will it be Ford versus Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or Parasite? Again, I could go with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really enjoyed that film. I could certainly go for Marriage Story. That would be my next choice. But I'm going to say 1917 for all the reasons I said for Best Director. I've had people who never go to the movies tell me, I went to see 1917 and that was a great movie. They talk about the camera work, the one shot that seems to last all the way through the movie. But again, if you can draw people out of their homes to go to the theaters to see a movie, people who, like I said, tell me I haven't been to a movie in the last 3 years, but I wanted to see 1917 on the big screen. So I'm going to go with 1917 as the selection for Best Picture of the year. So there you have it. You can make my list, you can write it down, and then watch the show on February 9th and say, nope, missed that one. Yeah, you missed that one. Or maybe you'll be saying, he got that right, and that right, and that right. But I just wanted to let you know what my choices that I think the Academy will make. They're not necessarily, if I was all in control, what I would have win. But this is the choices that I think that the Academy will make when they present their awards. So for today, this has been Jackie K. Cooper, Entertainment Rundown, talking with you about my predictions for the winners at the Oscars.